Siddharth Purohit, Senior Equity Research Analyst, Banking at Angel Broking, is now joining us. Siddharth, thank you so much for taking out time for us. First, about Axis Bank, what do you make of the results?
Yeah, morning Pankaj. The results, Pankaj, were definitely a little lower than what we expected initially. Primarily the reason being higher provisions. As we know that, Axis Bank had come out with a very big amount of watch list in the beginning of the year, but gradually slippages from that went up higher in the Q2, and during Q2 even the management had indicated that substantially higher amount could slip into NPA in the coming quarters. So accordingly I had factored in almost similar run rate of slippages during the quarter. So slippages number has really not been very negative, but what has happened is that probably out of the total slippages for this quarter, almost 70% has come from the watch list, whereas almost the balance 30% is from the non-watch list. That's a bit negative for this quarter. Otherwise slippages number has been in line with expectations. Now if you look at provisions, it has gone up substantially, but in the meantime the bank has increased its provisioning coverage ratio. That also one has to look at. Now coming back to the business growth, loan growth has been subdued almost 10%, but that is primarily due to the slowdown in the corporate and SME loan segment, which has grown by just 4%. But if you observe the retail loan portfolio, it has been pretty strong, almost 19%. So net business wise the growth has been decent enough, but as we know that the asset quality concern is still there with Axis Bank, and maybe in a couple of more quarters it will take for them to clean up the balance sheet. So out of the watch list of 22,000 crores odd what they had initially declared, almost half has been recognized as NPA, and the balance close to 11,000 is still pending. So maybe 2-3 more quarters of pain could be there for the bank.
But that doesn't don't you think that those all things are already factored into a price and it's very attractive at this level, or do you think that another correction is due and that's why you would want to wait before you buy?
No, in fact last quarter itself post result I had said that a lot of negativity has been factored in right now. We saw a knee-jerk reaction today itself post the result, but my sense is that next 2-3 quarters we are already factoring a lot of stress on the account and profitability to get impacted. But once the cleaning up process gets completed, then towards second half of FY18 maybe you will see that earnings trajectory picking up. So I feel that a lot of things are being factored in at the current price, and any correction should be taken as a buying opportunity in the stock. It might underperform for a near term, but I think that you may not see substantial sell up in the stock anymore from here onwards.
At 456, would it qualify as a buy, or correction from here on will lead to a buy?
I think it qualifies for a buy from here, and I have a buy rating on this. You may not see substantial downside from here. It might happen that it will consolidate for some more time, but I think from here onwards one should start buying in tranches with a 1 year times horizon, and maybe there will be more time correction rather than price correction for the stock from here onwards.
Yes Bank was a phenomenal set of numbers, and considering what Axis has delivered, Yes and IndusInd will continue to trade at a premium.
Yes Bank was definitely much better than what we thought initially. 38% loan growth in this kind of an environment is something really commendable job when the industry is growing less than 5%. So Yes Bank doesn't have any legacy issue like any other large banks like Axis and ICICI. So they're able to grow very fast. On top of that, the fee income is pretty strong. The management is very dynamic. So as long as they are able to maintain strong growth, and on top of that they are able to manage the credit cost which is below the large banks, then definitely they should get a premium valuation. Now if you observe Yes Bank this quarter, no doubt it was a very aggressive growth. Then also on top of that they were able to reduce the credit cost quarter on quarter, which was really something very positive in this environment. So I think even though it is trading say now 3 times FY18 adjusted book, but I think that it could continue to trade at a premium given the kind of delivery the bank has been doing for multiple years now. So I think Yes Bank also qualifies as an accumulator at the current level, and investors with long-term horizon should stick on to the bank at this moment.
But one should understand with the valuation that it is trading at, substantial returns may not be expected from here on. It may be moderate returns.
Yeah, it could be moderate return. As I said, it is already trading at say 3 times FY18 adjusted book, so which is definitely premium to the large banks, and so the return here onwards will be kind of will be in sync with the performance of the bank. You may not see substantial re-rating here onwards. It will mimic mostly the earnings growth that the bank will be able to deliver, and I think that should be healthy in FY18 as well. Now, one issue that probably what every time we have a concern is that because of aggressive growth, whether the credit quality of the bank will deteriorate or not. But time and again, the management has proved that they are able to contain the asset quality despite aggressive growth. So as long as the asset quality is contained at the current level, I think that they will continue to trade at premium valuations, and one can expect say kind of 10-15% return in the medium term on the stock. But maybe there onwards, maybe FY18 could become another good year for the entire banking industry towards the second half because of lower interest rate, and maybe that time you can see some amount of re-rating happening in the stock later.
Do you expect Canara Bank, which will declare today, would be an important set of numbers for Monday because of the PSU banking space, and one would start to pick up a trend from these numbers?
PSU banks, Pankaj, I have not been hopeful for last 1 year. If you remember that, I have been negative on PSU banks because of their asset quality issue on one hand and the growth prospect on one hand. If you just take out SBI from the entire PSU pack, then rest all are really not doing a decent job. So probably I think that it is not going to be any important event, but obviously one needs to watch that because post demonetization there has been a huge amount of deposit coming into the banking system, and maybe what has happened is a lot of clients and corporates have ended up paying their old dues also. So maybe there could be some amount of improvement in asset quality also. You cannot deny that. So one needs to watch out. So I cannot say with certainty, but maybe this will give you an indication that whether PSU banks during this quarter will have some amount of operating improvement or not. In terms of pure bottom line, you may not see disappointment because of treasury gains, which will be there for this quarter also, because the G-Sec yield has fallen by almost 35 basis points in the last one quarter itself. So that will insulate, but one needs to watch out that whether operationally PSU banks have started improving or not, and that's a big question.
Right, but in terms of PSU banks, do you think FY18, the risk of repricing is one of the key to watch out for?
Yes, but see, Pankaj, here the issue is that on one hand deposit has been coming to the banks. On the other hand, there is not enough credit demand. Now on top of that, you have reduced lending rates, right? So there are multiple factors which are going to really drive the performance. So core operations of PSU banks, you have to watch out from multiple points of view, as I said. But what I would say is that possibly now PSU banks also are facing a lot of cost pressure on one side on the operating cost. So possibly they will also try to grow their loan book little aggressively than what they did in FY17. So maybe you will see some amount of improvement towards the second half, but more details, I think some clarity should emerge during this quarter, and then only one can think about FY18 for PSUs.
Right. What do you do, in terms of PSU banks and the cost of funding with the CASA growth that they are expected to get? Do you expect that it could actually be a NIM dilutive rather than expansion of NIMs?
Yeah, in the near term, definitely. I mean, for this quarter, it may not matter much, but in the say medium term, it could be dilutive because certainly rates has come down, but you know how far they are able to really deploy that credit aggressively the deposit, that is one important point. And if they are not able to grow the loan book corresponding to the growth that they have seen in the deposit, then possibly, I mean, in that case NIMs could see some amount of pressure in FY18. So, but that is a point taken already, that has been kind of factored in. So I'm not really much looking into the NIM aspect of PSU banks, but what I am looking at is that possibly the underlying asset which had been creating trouble for the setup banks, and whether they are going to really improve from next year onwards, where I mean more sign of that should be give clarity for earnings growth in FY18.
Siddharth, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Really short on time, otherwise would have liked to continue this discussion. On that note, taking a break, coming back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere, lots more lined up on the other side of this break.